In the Mirror Bible, Romans 5:8 says this: herein is the extremity of God's love gift. And it uses extreme language here because it is an extreme act of love. The extremity of God's love gift. Mankind was rotten to the core when Christ died their death. Christ didn't die his own death. He didn't deserve death. He was innocent, but he identified with our lostness and died our death. If God could love us that much when we were ungodly and guilty, so he loved us when we were ungodly and guilty, rotten to the core, how much more are we free to realize his love now that we are declared innocent by his blood? So now we're free to realize that. We don't have to do anything to earn it, deserve it, work for it. We just have to realize it and receive it. God does not love us more now that we are reconciled to him. We are now free to realize how much he loved us all along. And this is the difference in what the good news is from an evangelical perspective of God doesn't love you until, or you cannot be reconciled until, to the reality of we're already all reconciled and now we're free to realize how much he loved us all along, even while we were in lost identity. And this is the power of an amazing God who is unconditional love. Verse 10, our hostility and indifference towards God did not reduce his love for us. He saw equal value in us when he exchanged the life of his son for ours. Now that the act of reconciliation is complete, his life in us saves us from the guttermost to the uttermost. And the word reconciliation there is from a Greek word katalasso, meaning mutual exchange of equal value. So God values us the same amount that he values Jesus, because Jesus was of equal value in the exchange. And that's an amazing statement. In Thayer's definition, it says to exchange as coins for others of equivalent value. For if while we were enemies, we were reconciled to God by the death of his son, how much more, now that we're reconciled, shall we be saved by his life? And that's what God wants us to live in, the abundance of his life. He doesn't want us to live like we're still in that old lost identity. So he wants people to discover who they truly are. And it's our responsibility to share that good news. Romans 5:18 in the Mirror Bible, the conclusion is clear. It took just one offense to condemn mankind. One act of righteousness declares the same mankind innocent. So when you look at people, you cannot look at them through their old identity of the flesh, no matter what they've done, no matter what they're doing. And this is where the difficulty comes in our humanistic way of thinking of it. We look at behavior and we make judgment values on the worth and value of the person because of their behavior. And when people do terrible things, we value them less and we think God values them less as well. And that gives us, in our own humanistic understanding of vengeance and retribution, the right to punish them in a way that they deserve. And that is the basis of our justice system. Our justice system is based on an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Whereas Jesus said, love your enemies and pray for them. The J.B. Phillips translation of that verse, Romans 5:18, says this: we see then that as one act of sin exposed the whole race of men to condemnation, so one act of perfect righteousness presents all men freely acquitted in the sight of God. So everyone's been acquitted of every act and every accusation against them. And according to Colossians, it was all nailed to the cross and overcome by Jesus. That is the power and extremity of unconditional love.